Welcome to the BNI Knox podcast, helping members in the Knoxville, Tennessee region grow their business and make more money through the power of referrals. Now, here's your host, Curtis Johnston.
Hello again. My name is Curtis Johnston. You've just joined the BNI Knox podcast. I got it right. Thank you, Mr. Thumbs Up. On with me today is Susan Moser. She'll be co-hosting with me today. It's great to have you.
Good to be here, Curtis. Hi, Susan Moser here. Great to see you today.
You just turn it on like that, don't you? It's fantastic. I love your personality. Listen, we asked you on the show today because you're a resource of information, a fountain of information, if you will. We'd like to talk about the mentor program. Are you familiar with the mentor program at all?
I am very familiar with the mentor program.
Okay.
Passport to Success. Absolutely.
All right. Well, give us like an overview, and then we'll pick out some topics to go deeper with. But give us an overview of what the mentor program is.
Okay. So the mentor program, or Passport to Success, is it's a retention tool for new members. As you know, we like to increase our retention. First-year members, they're coming in, everything's new. So we have this passport that they can follow, and we can talk about how that works, to be more successful as a member.
Okay.
And it also gives them an opportunity to meet with leaders of the chapter, which also makes them part of the family and very familiar and comfortable within the chapter very quickly, which again is part of the success and retention.
All right, so the mentor program is one thing, and the Passport to Success is something completely different.
So the passport, mentoring can be done for new members.
Right.
We utilize the Passport to Success. There's actually a little book that's called Passport.
Right.
That people, we follow.
Correct,
Put
yes.
them on a path for success.
Right.
And then mentoring is for members who, longer term members that's been through Passport. So maybe you have a membership committee who says, Curtis Johnston needs some assistance in a better ask, being more specific. Let's give him a little mentoring. So that might be a mentor sitting down and saying, let's talk about your business and how you can be more productive. So it's two things, but it's all about retention and helping members become successful, but Passport specific to new members.
All right, so the Passport we hand out when people join the chapter. It's in the new member kit.
It is.
If you don't have one, or you came on before we started giving them out, I guess they could get one from their leadership, right? Ask their president and get another one.
Absolutely.
And then what's in the actual Passport itself that you're talking about?
So the Passport has all these different people that you're going to meet with and subjects to cover.
Okay.
So we have the president, which covers the agenda and the leadership team.
Okay.
We have you meeting with the VP, which goes over policies and procedures. Membership committee actually goes over POMS. Robert, help me out. What else? Membership committee. I can't remember. Visitor host is about how to invite visitors, networking education. They meet with you about, I think that they cover some one-to-ones and lifelong learning.
Oh, wow. And for those of you who are listening and not watching, she's doing this from memory, which is impressive.
I'm trying. So then we have visitor host, networking education. Your secretary-treasurer talks about dues and payments and speaker rotation, because as a new member comes in and goes through member success program, completes their passport, we want to give them visibility by doing a showcase presentation.
There you go.
Then we have them meet with an ambassador, which kind of talks about where do you want to go. In your BNI membership, you don't have to stop at just being a member. You can go into leadership. You can be an ambassador, because we have a region and a corporation that is international.
True.
So
very true.
Developing people. Who else have I got? Visitor host.
Chapter tools.
Chapter tools is a wonderful, wonderful thing that in our world, J.R. Hertwig handles, because he's our tech guy. We want you to learn how to actually do your data entry.
Oh, yes.
No one gets paid in business without data entry. In BNI, members do not get their POMS report looking wonderful and all, for my world, all the scratch-off cards for being the network leaders without data entry.
Got it.
So.
All right, so the passport then is a physical passport, like you could picture a passport. And on these pages, it's written visitor host team, and then what they would meet, and then we fill in the name of the visitor host
So your mentor in the Rainmakers world, in the chapters I work with, as a new member comes in, they're assigned a mentor.
Okay.
The mentor's job is to do the initial orientation after a new member is inducted. So they sit down and they're going to help them fill out their passport. Here's who you need to talk to, they get you signed up for MSP. They help make sure that you get online so you can do your data entry. And in the BNI world, we have a downline rotation for mentors because we've had as many as 8 or 9 brand new members in a short amount of time. Well, if your president's hitting with that, so what we do is we do a rotation. So we have a program developed for that.
All right. And then who is responsible, accountable, who's in charge of making sure that the passport gets signed off and the new members meeting with people? Like, how does that walk out?
The mentor that you have, we have a mentor coordinator and a mentor team. Okay. So your mentor is responsible for checking up and making sure. The way that we move people through, if I am the first person that you're meeting with and Andy Brasfield is the second, as soon as you and I sit down, I'm going to text Andy or Voxer him and say, I've got Curtis Johnston. He needs to meet with you. We're going to be here for an hour. We want to move our brand new members through the process because they don't know. You don't know Andy.
Okay. Now, let me stop you for just a second. That's incredible. That's really, really good. I don't think I've ever heard.
We're pretty good at it.
We're going to have to open up both double doors to get her head out of this room when we're done here.
It's not me. I have a great team. You can take that out, Darren.
We're taking it all out. We're really not recording right now. This is just for your benefit.
Thank you. I needed to feel better and get out for a while today. So thank you for that.
So when the new member sits down with the passport and sits with that first person and they run through this is what the POMS report is, this is all the lexicon of BNI, that person then looks at the next page and says, okay, you're supposed to meet with Robert Smith next, so I'm going to let Robert Smith know you're coming. That's really, really good. That's really good. I didn't know that.
This is all about a new member experience. This is as I said at the beginning, this is a retention piece.
Right.
So the better we make a new member feel going through there. So if I said, okay, I'm going to meet with you, you just call Robert next. What if you've not even met Robert?
You may not even know who Robert is.
That's right. Whose job is it to take care of your client? The client or you? Well, this is a new client. This is a new member.
It's a great way to do it.
We want to help them get through that because we want them to renew in a year. We want them to have a good experience. That's why we approve their application because we want them in as a member.
Yeah.
So let's keep them longer than 6 months or a year by starting out, getting them acclimated, not only with what's the process and how do you do all this,
right?
But getting to know people along the way.
Yes.
And in our mentor passport world, we get that. We understand, and every person we have on our passport knows that this is an opportunity to teach, to educate, and to learn more about that person because the quicker we can get them acclimated into getting referrals, again, are you going to leave? This is retention. This is business.
That's right.
101.
Yeah.
If you're making money.
That's right.
No, you're not.
You would stay for sure. Would you also take that time to do a one-to-one? Would you then segue into the one-to-one worksheet and the contact spheres and the gains and all that, or would that be a separate conversation?
That would be a little bit of a separate conversation after you do the education, but every passport meeting is considered a one-to-one.
Okay. All right. So then you can call it a one-to-one, but if you only have an hour or if you only have a certain amount of time, make sure you spend time on the passport. This is how BNI works. Let me get you comfortable with this.
Right.
Not the initial business exchange. Let's get you through the passport and we'll set up the one-to-one after.
Right. And the passport people, your passport mentors, have a training. It's not like we just sit you down, hand you a book. Now, there's this whole document that tells you this is how you're supposed to cover it. This is the amount of time you should cover that. And all of our mentors have that.
Okay.
So there's a process. Everything in BNI is a process, and
that's why you love it.
That's why I love it. Yes, because
if the mentors don't have this document, where can they find it? Where is it?
All they have to do is ask their mentor coordinator or their president, or if you shoot me an email, I'll get it to you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, good deal. How do you go about choosing good mentors and good mentor coordinators?
I look at their POMS report and I watch their behaviors in meetings.
Okay. And what are you looking for?
Their behavior. I'm looking for them to
Can you be a little more vague?
Oh, yes, I could. I'm looking for them to be on time.
Okay.
I'm looking for them to be engaged. I'm looking for them to not be on their cell phone during meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for them to enter their data. I'm looking for them to do
Okay.
one-to-ones. I'm looking for them to have the ability to present. So I watch their 60 seconds. I watch their 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And are they talking or are they educating? Because there's a difference in that.
Tell me the difference.
Because talking just continues to present. Educating is like, did that make sense to you, Curtis? Do you have any questions?
Okay. So as your showcase, some are 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes, depending on the chapter. Yours is 7. So during the 7 minute at Rainmakers, you prefer or you like seeing more of an interactive. Does this make sense to you? I've just presented for 90 seconds, or I've shared some points. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it interesting? But we look at POMS and really, I think that once you're around a group of people or do this for a long time, you kind of get this gut feel of, hey, I think this person would be really good doing this.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So we sat down and I like to talk to people in the Rainmakers team because I have some blood, sweat, and tears into this chapter.
Sure, yeah.
And say, I was thinking about you being a mentor. And then I just stop and let them talk.
Mm-hmm.
What does that feel like to you? Do we think that you do really good in this? Could you cover this subject well?
Right.
And are you willing to make that time commitment?
Mm-hmm.
It's BNI is a business. It's running a business with an organizational chart. And you think about this: the staff members, the support people, the leadership, and the owners. If they're not all on the same page, your client's not taken care of. You're not growing, you're not retaining. It's the same thing in BNI, in a BNI chapter.
That's right. That's a very good way to put it. Now, you've been president or you've served back to back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talk
Yes,
about that. Talk about that a little bit. You're obviously committed if you're doing
I
back to
am.
back terms,
Yep.
or you should be committed, one or the other.
I
right?
know, both, a little bit of both. So when I left a larger chapter to come to a smaller, struggling chapter.
Okay.
And because I wanted to be where I felt like there was opportunity,
All right.
growth, and all of that. So long story short, our chapter ended up being taking 2 smaller, struggling chapters and combining it into one.
All right.
The Rainmakers chapter, and at that point, I had been education. Then they asked me to be the mentor coordinator.
Okay.
And then they asked me to be president. And these were not things that I had thought about being a part of at all, coming back and doing this. But, you say positive, supportive. So I said, okay, the president left early, so I did 2.5 years back to back. When I took over as president, I had 15 people in a room from 2 different chapters that wouldn't even talk to each other. So
A total of 15 people.
yes.
Wow.
Total.
Okay.
And like I said, struggling chapters.
Right.
So I put together a little contact sphere competition that like what we call the BNI game.
Okay.
And we had this great big huge visitor event at the end of it. And we did not close one person from that because we didn't have a strong visitor host team. What I did have now, though, was 15 people that actually knew how to work together and do it the BNI way.
That's true. That's
And
a good
so
point.
now I stayed the repeating president because, again, in business, if it's going well, you don't make a change of leadership for the sake of making change in leadership. You keep what's working well so your client's taken care of.
Okay.
So I did a repeat for 2.5 years. I kept the same people at the table with me for 2 years. And we set a foundation, and we started growing our organizational chart, our visitor host, the things that we've been talking about, our mentor program, our membership committee, our leadership. We do education, we do roundtables, we do town halls with our members, and we run it. Judy Householder gave me the best compliment she could ever say to me. Susan, you run Rainmakers like a business. Well, BNI is my business. Why would I not?
That's right. You said a couple of words in there I'd like to unpack. You said round table and town hall meetings. So describe both of those.
So round tables are board meetings. So your coordinators, your leadership people, visitor host, coordinators, mentors, all those people that are running your department, so to speak.
Right.
We gather one time quarterly, or at what I call the turn every 6 months. We meet somewhere and we talk about how's it going, what do we need to do, how do we need to fix, what do we, and we make a plan.
And that's everybody. That's president, visitor host, coordinator.
Coordinators, not the whole team.
Right.
Just like a
The
board.
coordinators.
Yes.
Sure. Okay.
Town hall, we do at the turn every 6 months.
The turn is what?
So beginning of October and then again at April.
Okay.
Because it runs from October through the end of
To
September,
right.
6 months.
Okay.
So we do 2 town halls, and that's where we open up our meeting for our members to send questions. So we tell them this date we're going to have a town hall. And we say if you have any questions for leadership, membership, mentoring, visitor host, education coordinator, all that, shoot it to leadership. We're going to answer those questions for you.
Okay.
And then we set it up in like a school-style seating where everybody's looking this way. We
Right.
have a facilitator, and then we let each department kind of talk about what we've talked about, what our plans are, how we see the future.
Wow.
And then we open it up to questions as long as they're positive and supportive. And then our members know what we know. And guess what happens? We continue to grow. We're all on the same page. There's no underlying da-da-da-da-das, and we love it.
Okay, very cool. Now, I've been a part of some town hall meetings, and you don't necessarily want to take questions from the floor.
That is correct. We've had that one time, and it was a wonderful thing that happened.
Was it that guy? Was it Robert?
It was not. Okay. It was not. But basically,
he knows. He said he knows better.
Yes, Robert's a good one. We love him. We had that happen one time. We knew it was coming. We had already discussed how we were going to handle it.
Okay.
And had hoped that the member would be professional. And when the question came up, I simply stated, we will talk about that offline.
It's fair.
And moved on.
Okay. I like that. I like the roundtables. I hadn't heard that happen before. We need to instigate that in our NRG chapter. Roundtables and town hall meetings. That's good stuff. Well, I could talk to you all day, or I could listen to you all day. I know you can talk all day. That's why I have this timer in front of me.
But that's all right. I know you can too. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being with us today. I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
I want to thank Susan Moser from Gamma Networks for being here. Again, my name is Curtis Johnston from Gallagher & Associates. I want to thank Darren Cooper at Front Porch Media for producing this. Thank you, Robert Smith at Mike Fuller Realty to put the studio together for us. And, of course, Andy Brassfield. We will see you next time. And next episode is going to be riveting. You don't want to miss it.